During what I'll just call a challenging year, I found the game Spiritfarer just in the nick of time. In what the developers at Thunder Lotus call a cozy management game about dying, you assume the role of a young woman named Stella, who is charged with shuttling cartoonish, animal-like spirits to the gates of the afterlife. From its superficial appearance, I assumed the game would provide a brief escape from the stress of the pandemic. Unexpectedly, Spiritfarer helped me process the suffering I bore witness to by challenging my presumptions about the illness experience.
It's okay, we'll be together, my friend.
From top to bottom, Spiritfarer oozes tranquility. Animations are bright and vibrant, and the music is soothing yet melancholy, invoking nostalgia for younger, innocent days. With this backdrop, you spend your time in-game managing the physical and emotional needs of your passengers. This entails things like gathering materials to upgrade your boat's ability to reach more distant islands, constructing customized quarters to accommodate your growing roster of spirits, and cooking meals uniquely suited to each passenger's preferences. I was especially delighted to learn I could hug passengers to boost their mood, though sometimes they will decline your offer. Bonus points to the developers for promoting healthy personal boundaries here. Your efforts are reflected in the mood of each spirit. As it improves, they share more and more about their lives. Ultimately, each story arc culminates in a heartfelt goodbye at the gate to the afterlife, for most of the spirits at least. One day, Stella was passing by the home of one of my favorite spirits, and found the outside newly adorned with flowers. My stomach turned over. Flowers only appeared after a spirit had passed through the gate, but I hadn't brought the spirit to the gate for our final goodbye yet. This was such a major deviation from the game's formula so far, I couldn't believe it was happening. Where was the closure? At that moment, I remembered all the times I told a patient's family member that their loved one was dying of COVID. Because of the restrictions on hospital visitors, I never knew their faces, only their tortured voices as I broke the terrible news by phone. There was no closure for these families either. The breakneck pace someone could go from healthy to dying was impossible to wrap my head around. In palliative care, we provide the medical knowledge necessary to help patients and families prepare for the future. We don't often talk about how that knowledge helps us cope as well. Understanding how an illness progresses gives us our own formula for processing the suffering we witness. Yeah, it's awful to tell someone that the last option for cancer treatment didn't work, but because palliative care workers know the trajectory of metastatic cancer, that conversation is an event we can anticipate and ideally prepare for ahead of time, both logistically and emotionally. There was no pre-existing formula for COVID to emotionally brace ourselves for what was coming. So while I worked hard to navigate the devastation in the least terrible way, I simultaneously resented the need. None of these people were supposed to be dying in the first place. Spiritfarer provided a gentle nudge to loosen my grip on however I think the future is supposed to look. It reminded me that, scale aside, COVID does not hold some sort of monopoly on unanticipated loss in the world. Nor does working adjacent to death really give me any control over it. But Spiritfarer's narrative is not an appeal to futility or nihilism. This game drives home the lesson that even if we can't control the outcome, we can still be active participants in the journey. We keep working to learn our neighbor's favorite dish. We take a moment to embrace them when they are feeling low. We hold space to listen to their stories and what is most important to them. Ultimately, caring for our community is how we shape the future. So, we chart the best course we can, and let the open water take us. Hey, if you made it all the way to this point, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed it and would like to check out the written review, head on over to pallimed.org, which is linked below. Pallimed also has over 1,500 posts about a huge range of palliative care topics. And for all things games and health, keep it right here at digital.games.